All right, let's keep this Christmas train a rolling. This time with Christmas Evil, another movie I probably should have covered on Slasher Sunday, but whatever. This isn't really a slasher movie. This is more of like a character study. Here's the thing. I've seen this movie once before, and really all I remember about it is it's a guy who goes around in a Santa costume, kills people, and at the end, the van scene. This movie is really interesting in parts, and I actually really like I don't want to say a good amount of it, but like some of it. I actually really like. There's some really intriguing stuff going on in here with this character. There's also a lot of drag, man. There's a lot of really long, drawn out, boring sequences where it's like, ooh, the pacing of this movie's rough. But that all being said, there is a good amount of good to take from this. So overall, I think it kind of averages out as pretty good. Like, I could legit see, like, I'm sure there's people who love it, but I can see a good reason for if someone was like, "Oh, I love this one. This is one that I love. This is a classic for me." Whatever. I get that actually. I like I like I like the rawness of the movie. It feels real grimy, and I dig that about it. It's cool. It's definitely one of the better killer Santa movies that I've watched. So yeah, I dig it. Anyway, I was actually maybe like halfway through. I was kind of like, oh, I don't know, man. I'm not really digging this movie. It's really kind of boring me. But towards the end, I was like, all right, I'm pretty into this now. So I don't know. It's just kind of peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys. All right, so this movie starts off with the famous song, I Saw Mommy Getting Fingered by Santa Claus. It's a family song that every family listens to on Christmas. I saw Mommy getting fingered by Santa Claus. I probably would have liked that version better. Is that what he's doing? I don't know what the hell Santa's doing down there, but he's just like worshiping her thigh, maybe? I don't know. I don't know if I can see both of his hands clearly, so I can only assume he's fingering her. But he's just like, he's down at her leg, and he's got his head pressed against her, and it's just like this long, awkward take of him just being like, And she's like, oh, is he like rubbing his beard on her leg? Is that her thing? Like, I don't know what the hell is going on there. So I'm just filling in the blank or her blank by saying there's at least 2, maybe 3 full fist. I don't know. Whatever she's into, something's going on. It has to be because thigh worship ain't something I've ever heard of. But, people got all sorts of kinks. So the kid becomes a cutter from this. I guess he just starts like cutting up his hand from it. And then we flash forward and he becomes completely obsessed with Christmas. And he's watching the neighborhood kids and he actually has a naughty list and a nice list. And he keeps that shit updated, man. This one's from 1980. Like, he has one every year chronologically. Like, he is keeping tabs, and this is the year he snaps. And of course, he works as a toy maker at a toy factory, so that all works. And that's pretty cool. The toys that they make there are pure shit, but he actually draws attention to that as part of the it's kind of part of the plot. He's like, this is garbage. You guys are giving out garbage. You don't make quality toys for children. So I dug that. Yeah, he's very creepy. He's very observant. He's just watching these kids day in and day out and taking it. That's creepy shit, man, for sure. But he never attacks any children in the movie, which I kind of feel like is a misstep here. Like, he should go after kids. Like, he's Santa. He's punishing the bad kids. He even tells he even tells a few of the kids, like, you're on a good list and you're on a naughty list. And if you're on the naughty list, I'm going to bring you something terrible. He never brings any bad kid something terrible. That kid that was reading the Penthouse magazine or whatever. Like, yeah, he goes in there and he scares the kid a little bit. But I don't know. I feel like he should have been offing kids. But it's 1980. It's a Killer Santa movie. It's controversial enough as it sits. I mean, look at what happened to Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 years later. That movie was absolutely brutalized by, MAD or Ma, whatever the hell that was. I think Moms Against, no, is that Moms Against Domestic something? I don't remember. But whatever the fuck it was, those moms went over there and trashed that movie enough where it got pulled from theaters. But yeah, I'm assuming that if this guy was offing little kids, but I don't know, just played better to the movie. It would have made more sense, right? So they didn't have the balls to do it, but that's what should have been done. And then kids, I watched some of this last night, and then I watched some of it tonight. So kids go upstairs, and Dad is knee deep instantly. Oh yeah. Damn, that's still from the beginning of the movie. I took so many notes from just the opening when he's a kid. Holy shit. So yeah, the kids go upstairs. No, maybe this is a different dad. But I don't know what it is. Yeah, no, it is. It's a different dad. It's the other kid's dad. That's right. So so the kids go upstairs, and this new dad from now into the movie, in the current timeline of the movie, this dude is knee deep in mom. Like a second after the kids go upstairs. He's just waiting to jump right inside of her. And they just go right out there on the couch. And I'm just like, your kids are right. Like they're not even up this top of the stairs yet. And you're already inside of this chick. That's some bold ass move. That dude is horny, man. He has got a jolly surprise for her. And then I love that the kid who sees him out in the bushes, he goes and he tries to tell his mom, and she just straight up hits him across the face for trying to alert her that some man attacked her at the bushes. Oh man, what an idiot she's gonna feel like later when she finds out there's a Santa actually out there trying to harm children. That there's a man out there. I'm guessing she changed her tune, but that is pretty hilarious, man. Comes up, just boom, shut up, get in the car. Brutal, man. Different times. 1980, different times. Then there's a line of dialogue, and I think it's on the television, if I remember correctly, where they're talking about this, organization, this charity group or whatever. And I think it's on the television. I swear it is. And he's like, and it says something like, "We're helping these retarded children." You want to talk about freaking like a time warp, man. It's such a different time. And it's just funny to watch how unbelievably un-PC that would be today. Just watching TV. Could you imagine throwing on the TV right now, like 2019, and they're talking about some, they're helping kids with Down syndrome or something, and they're like, come on, donate $1 and help these retards out. Did you fucking imagine? So funny. But back then, I mean, the word wasn't offensive, used in proper context, and now it is. You can't even say that word at all anymore. In fact, some people would actually be outraged that I even use the word at all in this conversation, which I've always found to be stupid. If you're going to talk about a word, use the word, or don't fucking talk about the word. I've always found that whole like taboo word thing stupid. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, the N word, the R word, you're going to talk about it? Fucking talk about it. It's just stupid to me that you're not going to actually mention the word. Having any word off limits at all, even in the discussion, like a debate, a dissection of it, get the fuck out of here. People are way too sensitive, as usual. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, I just think it's retarded. That should have flowed better. I thought about that way too late. I shouldn't have tried to nail it. I should have let it go, but that would have been funnier in the moment. I blew the joke. Bad timing. All right, moving on. I'm just retarded. That one worked. All right. I like that he makes a metal toy and then he takes it out and he actually uses it as an instrument of death. He stabs that guy in the eyeball and then bashes his head with the tomahawk or the little thing he has. That's good stuff. Really one of the only kills in the movie. I mean, there's very, very few kills in this movie, and the kills are kind of lame. So there was a big knock on the movie. But that's an okay death. I just wish this could service really well from a remake. If they remade this movie, some guy obsessed with Santa Claus like this, and he goes around. I mean, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, that's just Silent Night, Deadly Night. I don't think so. I don't feel like they're similar. I'm not going to say they're not similar, but I feel like this is a completely different character than Billy. Or Ricky. Yeah, Ricky. Oh, Jesus. Garbage Day. Yeah, this is a completely different character from Billy, in my opinion. Like, this is a functioning adult. Like, until he snaps, yeah, he might be an oddball, but like Billy is completely socially awkward, like can't function almost at all. Like he is a completely different kind of psychopath. Um, and I love that he paints a sleigh on the side of his van and then he's driving it around and he's pretending to like whip on Dasher, on Donner, on Prancer and Vixen, like that stuff. That's great. That's great, man. That's what I'm talking about. There's a lot of good things to take from this movie. He literally has a van that he sees as his sleigh. And at the end of the movie, we really see it as his sleigh. The awkward moment with the kids where he tells them he's going to give them horrible things and he's all like super scary and then he ho 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 and everyone's like, okay, I guess we'll laugh with him. That was kind of creepy. That was good stuff. Then he tries to go down the chimney. You know, I didn't see Billy trying that. And he gets stuck. He can't get down. And he's like freaking out. Oh shit, I can't get out. And then he finally slips himself out. Good stuff. Santa goes down the chimney. He's delivering presents to children. Good stuff. This is all solid stuff that Silent Night, Deadly Night, something like that should have had in it. But this movie does it better. But of course, Silent Night, Deadly Night came out after this, so they didn't want to copy it. So it makes sense. But I think there's a lot more cool things going on with. They're playing with Santa much more in this movie than they have in almost any of these other ones that I've watched. Man, that wife next to the dude who's getting strangled by, or well, I should say suffocated by his bag of toys. I like how he thinks these are shitty toys, but he goes and still delivers them around to kids for free. And it's like, I guess if it's for free, but isn't all Santa's toys for free? He just doesn't want the parents to have to pay for this shit. So as long as the kids get it for free, you know, they should be so grateful, right? But man, this wife that's sleeping next to the dude who's getting suffocated, she is a seriously heavy sleeper. But then he slits his throat with a star on top of the tree and she lands on his body and she has that silent scream. I like silent screams in movies where the people are just so absolutely mortified in the moment, absolutely terrified that they cannot get a sound out. I think that's very realistic and I dig it when it's in movies. And he actually goes and he takes that dude out for like, you produce shit and you're trying to have it all and here you go, like, here's your toys, I'm going to kill you with your own shit. I like that. That's cool stuff. And then, yeah, he slits her throat and then she's like, you know, she's having a full Laurie Strode moment at the end of Halloween 2 when she can't call out for Dr. Loomis. I like that. It is realistic. It's, you know, in the moment, in Halloween, it is kind of like, Laurie, come on, fucking slap your hands, make some kind of noise. Jesus Christ. And then I like that when I was laughing because I was thinking about like, wouldn't it be funny if this was kind of a prequel to Silent Night, Deadly Night, and the kids who he kills the parent of in that house, he runs out of there, the kids see him do it, and then those kids grow up to be Billy and Ricky. It kind of reminded me of that. His brother is played by Jeffrey DeMunn from, Shawshank Redemption, Walking Dead, you know, every Frank Darabont project Jeffrey DeMunn has worked on. So that's where I know him best from. Obviously, he's been in other stuff, but anytime I see him, I'm going to immediately think of those roles. And one of the cops is another familiar actor, but I can't say who he is off the top of my head, but I'm like, I know that guy. I've seen him in 1,000 things. I already forgot who he is. Like in my head, like if I went back and looked at him, I'd be like, oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, he's in something. And I'd come up with it, but he's only in it for like a minute. So wasn't really worth remembering. One of the Santas that they have in the lineup is seriously like 7 feet tall. I know it's an awkward angle and he's probably more like 6 something, but I feel like they could have got a decent height assessment of how he is and that he's not a freaking giant, dude, okay? Like if Shaq went around killing people, I think it'd be a pretty narrow suspect list. But, man, just thinking about like Santas being placed under arrest and put up there. There's a movie, oh God, I'm not sure which one it is where the Santas are all up there like that. It could be like Trapped in Paradise is a really fun Christmas movie that I haven't seen in a long time. Four Rights is a Circle. That's a fun movie, but I don't think that's what I'm thinking of, and I don't think it's Bad Santa, which I never saw the second one, Bad Santa 2, now that I think about it. Now I'm thinking about Christmas movies. But there's a Santa scene where they're all up. I'm just, it's escaping my memory. What's the movie where all the Santas are up getting, they're all suspects, and they tell them to turn like left, and like all but one turns left and the other one turns around, and like one of them's black and one of them's like a midget, I think, or there's an offensive word, little person. Fucking movie is that? I know it. It's not. It's a popular one too. It's like a one you watch all the time, and maybe it'll come to me before the end of this. But it just reminded me of that when they were all up there for that moment. And I think that's is that Santa Claus? I think that might be the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. I could be wrong. I don't know. I love that movie though. So many fantastic jokes from Tim Allen in that movie. Fuck, man, I laugh out loud every single time I watch it. I don't know. His lines in that are great. Thank you, Judy. And then, okay, so what the fuck is up with this scene? So Santa comes, lucky him. No, Santa comes up to a group of kids, and he's talking to them, and he's going to give them presents. And of course, all the parents behind him, which a couple of them look like they're the grandparents or the great grandparents. And shit, some of them look really old. I'm like, are those supposed to be their parents? Because shit, that woman looks ancient. But he goes and he talks to him, and the parents are clearly on to that he's the killer, or at least suspect it heavily. So they're freaking out. And then the one dad finally goes to make a move and defend the kids, because everyone's freaking, oh my god, he's going to hurt the kids, what do I do? So he pulls out a switchblade, which I guess he's just carrying around because he's a badass, and he goes to confront the guy. And then his daughter comes to protect, and she's like banging at her dad's leg, no dad, leave Santa alone. And he's like, come on honey, go away. He's like gently like trying to push her away, like I'm trying to handle this, and he has a knife, but it's like up here. He's not like putting it to the kid's throat, look you little bitch, I don't care. It's nothing like that at all. He has a knife over here and she's here, and he's just trying to like gently push her away so he can go save the other kids. And what happens? What happens for his efforts? His wife comes and attacks him. She attacks him. Don't hurt my daughter. It's their kid. It's their fucking child. And she attacks him when the killer's right there. And then it knocks the fucking the knife out of his hand, which she then lets the kid pick up and take it to Santa. What? Why would she attack him? Why wouldn't she come in? Like he says, hey, honey, come get the kid. Why wouldn't she grab the kid, pick her up, and be like, Daddy has to handle this, honey? She attacks the dad. That is one of the dumbest, most outrageous sequences I've ever seen. And what actually upsets me more than anything with that scene is, I'm not 100% sure that might not happen. There are some dumbass people in the world. I've talked about this many times on the channel. There's been plenty of times I hung out at the bar life a long time, and I have that knight in shining armor complex where if a damsel in distress needs help, I'm like one of the first people to stand up, if not the first person to stand up. And there have been moments where I handle the situation and I try to like get her boyfriend out of the building, as gently as possible. And she's like, don't hurt him. And she's like beating, and you're like, what the fuck? And this guy was like abusing her in there verbally, sometimes physically. And you're like, what? You guys are made for each other. Fucking, I don't care. Just leave. So for her to go up to this guy and be like, don't you hurt. It's like, that's his daughter. He pulled a knife on this guy to protect her. What do you think he's going to do? Stab her to death? What a dumbass scene. But even dumber to think that might actually happen. So anyway, it just really irritated me. Where the hell did the townsfolk get torches so fast? This is a hilarious moment in the movie. Oh, there's Santa. Everyone grab their torches. What? Everyone just has torches all of a sudden? Torches. You would have to fucking find something, fashion something around it, light it on fire. Get torches. They just grabbed torches. I know this is like artistic liberty and it's, for the movie and they're maybe, doing a Frankenstein moment or something. I don't care. They pulled torches out of nowhere in 1980. So fucking ridiculous. Anyway, the snow in this movie that's on the ground is so fake. It's like that blanket snow, like literally like blankets of snow. And there's a scene where his brother's chasing after him and he rolls down a hill and all the blankets slide with him and you can see the ground underneath. So funny. Oh my God, the low budget just shines through. So fucking funny. And then I like the scene where he's confronting his brother and he actually like chokes him out. And they have like a reverse thing going on here where the wife actually like turns into the kids from the beginning, watching what's going on with Santa in the living room, looking through the bars as a child, like a mirror image of a reverse thing going on here. As she watches this confrontation that's going to scar her for life now. Sequel. And then he chokes him out and then he drags his brother out of that house. That dude looks heavy. And he is so easily dragging that guy around and throwing him in his truck. Jeffrey DeMunn is ripped in this movie, obviously, to be able to carry his brother. Have you ever tried to carry dead weight around? Like just your friends playing dead and you pick them up and you try to drag them? It's crazy how much heavier someone feels when they're just like dead weight. And he's just carrying him around but he's got adrenaline pumping through his veins. So maybe if women can lift cars to save their kids, why can't he lift his brother like that? And speaking of the way he looks, I love the way he looks. He looks completely different as Santa. He looks older. He looks haggard as fuck. He looks scary. He looks deranged. He looks like an absolute lunatic Santa Claus. So good job there. And then we get the ending. The flying van. And the brother looks at it, because you could be like, all right, so he just sees in his head before he dies that he flies away and this is like his magical mystery thing. Because in the opening, he sees like Santa slide down the chimney, but like it's very supernatural the way he lands and leaves. Like it's a total fabrication in his head. And he actually sees the reindeer in front of him as we can see it. So this is a very deranged mind. So you could say at the end, oh, it's just what he's seeing. That's his glorious end before he dies. And I'm not against that. But then, why does his brother go, and look, now you could of course be like, his brother's just like, oh my God, my brother's driving to his death. Oh my God, but he looks up like he's flying away. Now he probably gets some air and he's like, oh shit. But the way he looks, it actually seems like his brother actually flies away there. I love this ending. I don't care. I guarantee you more than half the audience was like, oh my God, that was such a dumb ending. How stupid. I don't give a shit. It's awesome. I'm so happy they went there. You can fill in the blanks. You can either say it was in his head or maybe he really did have Santa Claus-like powers, although he couldn't get down the damn chimney. But yeah, I love it. I love the ending. Good stuff. Good stuff to take from it. Real boring in times, though, so that's kind of a bummer. Pacing issues aside, fun to be had. Anyways, adios.